Day one. Yes, another day, man. To all my subscriber, respect. To those who still emoting there, the emoters. Those who's using fired gas. Man, they're so wrathful and hungry. Ah, where are your logics? Where are your logical ammunitions, man? Stop demoting. Emote, emote, emote. And pot emote. Oh, God. Now, I'm going to deal with this issue of atheism redefined as absence of belief. You know, reading some of these comments that some of these people made, you know, that they just lack belief in God. You know, as if, you know, it's something that just a brute fact, you know. I don't participate in not believing that there's a God. I'm going to get to information from William Lane Craig from the On Guard. Let's see what William Lane Craig said about this redefinition of atheism. And I know that the gun is ready to blast, but let them come. Now, this is what William Lane Craig said concerning this absurdity. Very often, atheists themselves admit that they have no evidence of God's absence, but they try to put a different spin on it. So they're so desperate. They all tell you no one can prove a universal negative like there is no God. They think this somehow excuses them from needing evidence against God's existence. But not only is it false that you can't prove a universal negative, for instance, all you have to do is show something is self-contradictory. But more importantly, this claim is really an admission that it is impossible to prove atheism. Atheism involves a universal negative. You can't prove a universal negative. Therefore, atheism is unprovable. It turns out that it is the atheist who is believing a view for which there is and can be no evidence. This argument ought to be part of the Christian's apologetic arsenal. Our arsenal is full of ammunition and weapons, man. Rational, logical argumentation that they cannot rebut. Because they don't have any good argument. All they have is emotion. What many atheists do at this point is to revise the definition of atheism, so that it's no longer a view that God does not exist, but becomes merely the absence of belief in God. Anyone who lacks a belief in God counts as an atheist. This is not only contrary to the traditional meaning of the word, but it's really hopeless as a definition. Of course it is. Desperate man catch at a straw. For on this new definition, atheism is no longer a viewpoint or position. Rather, it's just a description of someone's psychological state, namely the state of lacking a belief in God. As such, atheism is neither true nor false, and even babies turn out to be atheists. But can you imagine the following conversation between two young mothers? Now, the conversation between two young mothers, as William Lane put it, is one is Brookie and the other is Julie. Julie, I heard that you just had twins. Congratulations. Julie, yes, thank you. But, you know, it's so sad. Brookie, what is? Julie, well, they're both atheists. See the ludicrousness? On this redefinition, even our cat, Muff, who I am sure has never even thought about the question, turns out to be an atheist. My God, even the animals, the snake, the cockroaches, all of these animals, insect, birds are atheists based on this redefinition. That's what happens when you try to fight against ultimate reality. All your argumentation degenerate into logical absurdities. No, he has done here is muffin atheist. All of this still leaves us wondering whether or not God exists. Call it atheism or schemathism. What we want to know is if God exists, and anyone who says he does not needs to have some evidence or arguments for his position. William Lane Craig, a research professor of philosophy at the Talbot School of Theology, a respected debater, prominent internet presence of reasonablefaith.org, and the author of Reasonable Faith. Dr. Craig is one of the most influential defenders of Christianity in our day. He and his wife Jane has 2 grown children. Prominent intellectual mind in defense of the Christian faith, exposes the absurdity of atheism. You don't lack belief, my friend. You choose to do that because you're so mad and upset against God. You're so wrathful. I hate him. I don't want him to be. I hate him so much. I'll use any kind of logical absurdity and rationality to prove that he doesn't exist. Emoters. Doesn't matter what you try, you're backed in a corner. You have no arguments. You can't present any proof against the existence of God. Surrender and yield. Bow. That's what you must do. Acknowledge that God exists and bow. Out.